Hello class, in this video we'll talk about blending mode, green screen, and render in media encoder, and in the end we'll create this video. Let's get all of the files in here. So basically we have a background, and here we have the Q-nurse voltage, and we have two torches, one in green color background, one in blue color background. Okay, so I'll go to top menu, composition new, and here is the setting I would put in. But so here we can just go to the templates, and we'll choose HDTV 1080-24. So this will reset everything. So this is the HD 1080, that standard HD video. Okay, and frame rate 24 is for film. And here we can choose our duration. So here I'll just choose 10 seconds, 0 millisecond. Okay, and click OK to confirm. Okay, so this is our background, and we can probably just rename it. Hit return key, and I'll say scene 01. Okay, in case if I need to create other scenes. And first of all, I will just drop in my background. As you can see, the background is smaller than it, since it only has 1024 pixels. So we can hit S key for scale and just scale it up. Okay, and select it, hit Command D to make a duplication. Okay, so here we can see this one, we can see BG yellow. Okay, and this one we can see BG blue. So this will be the base one. Alright, so hide the yellow one, and with this one selected, you can just right click and go to Effects, go to Color Correction, go to Hue Saturation, and I'll lower down the saturation a little bit. And we can change the hue, so I would like to make it to a bluish color, so that's in the light, and lower down is as hue. Okay, and we can close the effect control window after we're done. So basically I'll have these two layers layered together. Okay, and then we'll create the torches. Okay, so for the torch, as you can see, it has audio. Okay, we'll drag it in, and first thing we'll mute the audio, and here let's decide where we're going to put the torch. One maybe here. So first thing we're going to get rid of the green color background, and keylight 1.2. Here's it. Okay, and then for the screen color, just choose the green color, and it'll get rid of everything in the background. Okay, and then we can move it to a spot over here, and we can also go to the scale, and we can lower down the scale, so we can put it here, maybe here. Okay, and then hit Command D to make a duplication. And we'll put one back in there, and we can scale it down as well and put it in the background. Okay, and then let's move on to the other one. So for this one, torch 3, put it on the top. We can also use keylight 1.2. Okay, and screen color, choose the blue color. And we can place it here, a little bit closer to the scene, or maybe down below here, and we can make it even bigger. Place it here. So now let's talk about lighting and blending mode. Okay, so we have these 3 torches placed here, right? And we want the background to show the lights. Okay, what we can do is we can turn on the yellow layer, And then we can use our rectangle tool and just switch it to a round shape tool. So basically this one we'll use it as a mask. So with this yellow color selected, and then we can just draw a ellipse on this layer. So this is the first one, and then the second one, and then the third one. Okay, and go back to selection tool, and then you can just click on each one and reposition it. Okay, and select this one and reposition it, make it smaller. And double click on this one and maybe bigger. Okay, and down below here you will find the near masks. If you don't see it, just click on the arrow here and you should see masks. And this is mask 1, and we can go down below here and we can change the mask feather. Okay, change the mask feather. Here's how it looks. Okay, maybe it's a little bit too big, I think, so I'll just make it smaller. And also put it in the back, since the light is going to illuminate the background here on the wall, not here, right? Okay, and same thing for here. For mask 2, I'll just manually type number 118. It's a little bit hard to see, right? So maybe lower it down, about 24.5 or 40. Okay, it looks better. I'll place it on this side and shrink it a little bit. Make it longer. Okay, here we go. And then for this one, we're going to make it bigger and cover this area, actually this whole area. And then for the feather, we're going to do maybe 150, right? And maybe a little bit to this side. Still don't like how it looks. And maybe 120, just make it smaller. Okay, and I also want it in on the ground, so we can use the pen tool and add some points. Okay, and then bring this point to here, this point to here, so we can change the shape. Okay. Alright, so next step, we're going to select this layer, and here you should see mode, and this is a blending mode. Okay, same as Photoshop. So if you don't see it, just right click on this panel, go to column, and make sure the mode is checked on. Okay, we'll switch it to, let's try lighten. Okay, or let's try screen. This is without it, this is with this layer. Okay, this is how it looks. So I'll stay on screen blending mode. We use the same footage, and they have this pretty much the same movement, which doesn't look good. So what I would do is I would select one, and I would just move it forward a little bit. So now they're not in the same time, and as you can see, the fire will be a little bit different, maybe a little bit more. All right. Okay, and this one I think is fine. Okay, so for next step, we're going to animate the lighting only on the wall. Now you can see that the fire is flickering, but not the lighting. Okay, so what we can do is go to the mask here. You see the opacity, right? So if I lower down the opacity, as you can see, it disappeared. Okay, so you got the idea. So here's the keyframe button. and we can simply just click on this and create one keyframe. And then here let me turn off the mode and a few things so we can have more space here. So I'll also turn off the parent and link. Okay, so about a few frames later, and I'll lower it down, and then later, and I'll rise it up, and lower it down again. Okay, up. Okay, so I'll just repeat this process and set some keyframes. Okay, and then I will duplicate these frames. So what I can do is I can just select this keyframe and Command C copy, Command V paste it here. So select the whole thing, Command C copy, Command V paste, right? First the frame will be pasted here, and you repeat this whole cycle. And then I will go to here and copy the whole thing, paste. And then I can select the whole thing, all of the frames. Well, move back to the frame 1. Okay, select everything and copy. Okay, and then we'll go to mask 2 and opacity, and we can simply just paste it here. And again, since we are using the same keyframes, the same cycles, so the animation will be the same. So what we can do is just move it forward a little bit, so now the timeline is not, the same. So if I play, now you should see the difference, right? And same thing for the third one. So I'll select the mask opacity and paste it here. And for this one, I can just place it backward a little bit. Start from 100 and lower down a little bit, and back to 100, and then go to 78. So the third one, I can just lower it down to 92 or something. Okay, there we go. And then let's add some glow effect. I can select all of these 3, and I can make a duplication. So here they are. Under layer, down below here, you should find a pre-composition. Torch together. Move all attributes into the new composition. Here we are. So we'll have another layer of the torches. Okay, so I'll hide the old layers. So for this one, what I'll do is I'll just create a simple mask to only show the torch. Okay, we can temporarily change the mask to none, so we'll be able to see the other torches. Select this one, cover this area, and cover this one. Okay. Oops. Switch it back to the selection tool and make sure your mask is big enough to cover the whole flames. Okay, so let's take a look. Select all these 3 masks and take a look if the fire will get out of frame. Nope, so it's fine. So we'll just keep it, and actually here, instead of say torch together, I'll just say torch glow. Okay, and select all these 3 masks and change it to add, so it'll only show the fire. Okay, turn on the effects and presets window, and I'll just search glow, drop the glow effect onto it, and then let's play with the settings. And we can increase the radius, and we can increase the intensity a little bit. We'll turn on these 3 layers, and we'll play with the blending mode. So here, let's check on the mode, and let's switch this layer to soft light, doesn't look good. And we can also lower down its opacity. So if you go down to here under transform, you should see the opacity, and we can lower it down. Lower it down to about 50 or 54. This is before, this is after. We also play with the opacity, if we want to, that is a flashing. I'll just imagine to create some keyframes for the opacity. So here we'll start with the 45. Four frames later, increase it to 70, down to 60, increase it to 93, lower it down, and also I'll just repeat this process and make it flashing. So here I have 83, so I'll just copy the first one, paste it here. Okay, and then I'll just copy this whole cycle, Command C and Command V paste. Okay, so here's how it looks. Okay, then we'll bring in our actor. So here for the killer, okay, and as you can see, it has 31 seconds. So we'll just, instead of drag it directly in here, we'll just create a new composition for it, and we'll crop the area. To cut at here, you can either put your mouse in front of it and cut at here, or you can use Option and the square bracket, okay, to cut it here, and then go to the end here. Okay, Option, square bracket, okay, to cut, and then we'll just move it to back to 0 second, and then let's see. The engine frame goes about 8 seconds and 11 frames, so we can just right click on this frame and composition settings, and 8 and 11 frames. Okay, click OK to confirm, and we can just go to Effects and Glow and search for Key Light 1.2 and drag it onto it and pick up the green color. So here, as you can see, this is filmed in a green screen room, right? The light is in this area. So here's a brighter, and here's a middle tone, here's a dark area. I will pick out the middle tone, so you get more space to clean out the background. If you pick up this area, it's hard to clean up the dark color. Same thing here. If you pick up the dark colors, it's hard to get rid of the bright color. So I'll pick up the color in the center. And here, as you can see, we still have some white color here and some dark color here. So we can just increase the screen gain a little bit, but scale in, zoom in, make sure you will not erase your footage. So here I can change my preview to full, so I can preview the hair. So here, as you can see, get a half transparency and a background here. So what I can do is, for the screen gain, I put 120, and I'll go down to screen matte. Okay, and for screen white, I'll lower it down, maybe about 84 to get some value back. Okay, and let's play. And I also don't like the hard edge. So what I can do is I can shrink the edge by -1, right? Okay, let's go back to the scene, and while dropping our killer, drop it in here. As you can see, it's smaller than our composition, so we can just scale him up. So the color is different, right? Our background is in blue tone. We just go to color correction, hue saturation. Okay, first lower down the saturation a little bit. Slightly change the hue. Alright, now it looks much better. Alright, the last thing, as you can see, the background is very sharp and clear. If I go to full resolution render, and it's not realistic, right? The background is too sharp. So what I can do is, I can create an adjustment layer and blur out the whole background. Layer, new, and adjustment layer. So I'll place it under the corner layer. We're going to apply a blur effect to it, so we can see blur, and you'll see plenty of blur effects. We're going to use Gaussian blur. Here we go. Drag it onto here. I'll just place it about 8. Okay, so that's the first one. And then we're going to add another one. And for the second one, also add a Gaussian blur effect. So for this one, we're going to get it about 20, should be good. And then for the second layer, what we're going to do is I'm going to select this one, and I'm going to create a mask. Make it only cover this area. So the idea is I want to create a depth of field effect because this area is farther, right? And here's a closer. Okay, so I'm going to, I'm going to let it only blur this area. The second blur effect, I only want it to be effect in this area because here's a farther. So here I'm going to go to the mask, and I'm going to increase the mask feather a little bit more. Okay, and cover this area, and let's take a look how it looks. So if we zoom in, here is how it looks. It's getting slower because I have, a lot of effects on top of it. Alright, once you are satisfied with the result, make sure you select this whole composition, and we're going to head over to rendering. So I'll go top menu and add to Adobe Media Encoder. Alright, here's the media encoder. So all you need to do is very simple, just to keep default. By default, it should set as the H.264, which is the MP4 video. Okay, they can compress your video, have a decent file size, but keep the quality, the original quality. Okay, and here choose a match source, high bitrate. Here's the location you're going to export. You can just click on that and choose a location to export. So I will put it in download folder and save. And then click on this button, and it's going to take a few seconds, or 10 seconds or 20 seconds to render. And once it's done, you'll find your video in the downloads folder you have exported.